No more campaign ads. The election is in the books. What does it mean for agriculture? We'll talk about what the impact could be on the farm bill and property taxes. Plus, the cold and snow grind harvest to a halt again. And we'll see what's coming next at a long-running farm show. It's time to grow. Welcome to the program. No more campaign ads. This election is in the books, but what does it mean for agriculture? It looks like Congress may pass a bipartisan farm bill before the end of the year, with Democrats taking control of the House. Conservative Republicans have been trying to put in tougher work requirements for food stamps, which has held up the farm bill. Now it looks likely the House will compromise and come up with a farm bill before new members take office, rather than start over with the Democrats in charge. And Nebraskans will have a voice in those discussions as Deb Fisher returns to the Senate, where she serves on the Ag Committee.
I'm from the ranch south of Valentine. I understand the 3rd District, I understand rural Nebraska, I understand our smaller communities. We're a very diverse state, and we have to have people who represent this state who understand rural but also understand the urban areas.
Governor Pete Ricketts goes back to the Capitol with the endorsement of many farm groups. Still, the property tax situation is unresolved. In his defeat, Democrat Bob Christ challenged Ricketts to do something.
If he doesn't, in the military we used to call it a mutiny, but in this organization or in this structure in the state, there will be a referendum put on the ballot.
Ricketts got over 59% of the vote compared to Christ's 40%. Meanwhile, we're back in the shop this week as harvest grinds to a halt. Many farmers have finished harvest, but there were also many trying to beat the snow this week. The grain itself still okay, but the crops don't always flow through as easily.
It doesn't pick up a lot of moisture, the grain itself, but all the stalks do and the other conditions. And generally, snow doesn't give your field a lot of moisture, so it isn't a traction issue or a tracking up issue. It's really just getting the crop through the combine and separating the grain from all the leaves and shucks and stalks.
McFeeters also says the grain elevators are pretty busy as farmers try to finish up their season. And it looks like many of you still have a few acres to go. About a third say you're done, about a third say you've got a few days left, and the rest, well, you're going to have to wait for the snow to melt to finish harvest. Here in Nebraska, soybeans are just about done, but there are plenty of acres of corn left to finish. Farmers made a lot of progress before the snow, getting to 65% complete on corn, but that still lags behind the average. The nation's soybean growers are on track to harvest a record crop, but it comes in the midst of that trade dispute. NTV's Sarah Kirkley talked with producers across the state about how this year's harvest has progressed.
We still have about 60% of our soybeans in the field that we'd sure like a chance to get them out. We were able to get the corn out before because it was just too wet to get into the soybeans.
Yeah, how has harvest been this year?
It's been up and down. We've had really good fields. We've had not so fun fields. We're a little worried about what we're going to get into yet when we finish up these soybeans. It's just a day-by-day operation. We've never not finished, so we just are continuing to be hopeful.
Harvest is great because it is done. We finished up last week, and it was great. We had really good yields, especially with the way the ag economy is going. We're going to need every bushel we could get, so it was good.
Harvest is going pretty well. Should wrap up here this week whenever the rain stops dropping on us.
Yeah, had any problem getting in the field earlier this year?
Early on we didn't turn any wheels for about 10 days due to rain, but we hit it pretty hard after we got in there and should finish up here shortly.
We actually finished up this last week, so big relief to get all of it out. Unfortunately, we were able to start a little bit early with the hail and the damaged crops, trying to get them out early. So,
how big a hit are you taking there?
It was substantial, especially with how good the fields are doing this year. Not that our yields were that significantly different from previous years, but knowing that everybody is raising 30, 40, 50 more bushel an acre on average, you know, we really missed the boat on that one.
Sarah also talked with folks in the commodity business about that tariff situation.
So the biggest change is most obvious in the soybean trade right now, and that's been our biggest impact, obviously. We've basically seen the market go from being somewhere in that 1050, 1060 futures range to our nearby low is like 833 futures. Obviously, then our basis in the area has been affected as well. We're losing, you know, somewhere upwards of $1 to $1.20 on basis in your more remote areas. If you're near a processor, you're lucky, and that is somewhere in like the 70 to 80 cent range off of that futures value. So it's been a huge decline, a lot of unexpected pieces falling into place. We've had some positive news in the last week from President Trump. Hopefully his tweets continue to be positive for us. It's nice to be on that side of the tweet for the change. I think probably the most impressive thing with this policy changes and updates that have come in the last few months is that we've actually had a really quick amendment to our pricing relief. It's been a while since there's been relief put to the farmer that's happened so quickly with this tariff premium that we're getting right now for beans and corn. So that's been probably the most positive thing to see, is that it feels like the administration is trying to help the farmer kind of weather some of that financial storm that's happening right now with soybeans especially.
And while the LEAD program develops ag professionals, the state is also building up young leaders. The Nebraska Department of Agriculture announced its selection of this year's Nebraska Agricultural Youth Council. NAYC members are college students that work throughout the year promoting agriculture and teaching young students about careers available in the industry. The NAYC is entering its 48th year, and a highlight is the annual Nebraska Agricultural Youth Institute in the summer. Meanwhile, the Exarban Stock Show will transition to a junior livestock show format in 2019. Under the junior show model, youth from 9 to 19 compete and do not have to belong to a youth organization. The stock show director says kids have diverse affiliations these days, whether that's 4-H, FFA, breed associations, or simply open class. They hope this opens up the show to more kids, plus they have added 4 more states. Arkansas, Montana, Indiana, and Wisconsin will join the existing 10-state family of eligibility. Next, we see what's on tap at the Gateway Farm Expo, and a local retailer is all in on ethanol.